HoneyKomb Brazy's life is one of the wildest, most chaotic, most tragic stories in all of Southern rap. A saga full of early violence, trauma, loyalty gone wrong, and consequences that shaped him into the artist and the controversial figure he is today. But to understand HoneyKomb Brazy, you gotta go all the way back to Mobile, Alabama, where the streets weren't just dangerous, they were a force that shaped his childhood from day one. Born Nazhan Jones, he grew up surrounded by the type of environment where beef wasn't just music, it was daily life. The code of the streets wasn't something he learned as a teenager. It was something he absorbed before he could even fully understand it. He's spoken openly about watching chaos as a kid, seeing people he loved cycle in and out of jail, and growing up knowing the system and the block were constantly tugging at each other, both claiming him before he ever had a chance to choose his own lane. But the moment that changed everything came when he was just a teenager. A moment he still reflects on today. HoneyKomb Brazy ended up shooting his own cousin, an act that left his cousin paralyzed for life. It wasn't random, and it wasn't a mistake born out of play. It was the result of growing up in an environment where conflict turned deadly before anyone slowed down long enough to think. The shooting haunted him, followed him, shaped the way the legal system viewed him from that day forward. And from that moment on, every case, every arrest, every beef felt heavier, because he wasn't just another kid wilding out. He was a young man already carrying a heavy reputation. From his teens into his early 20s, HoneyKomb racked up cases like someone running out of time. Gun charges, drug charges, probation violations. He found himself in and out of courtrooms so often that jail almost felt like a revolving door. But the craziest twist in his story didn't come on the streets, it came behind bars. HoneyKomb has claimed in multiple interviews that during his time locked up, he stabbed more than 100 people. Whether that number is exact or exaggerated doesn't even matter. The point is that his time inside was nonstop violence, survival mode, and territory politics. He wasn't just doing time, he was battling through it. His reputation behind the wall grew fast. Some people feared him, others respected him, and some wanted no part of the chaos that seemed to orbit wherever he stood. But then comes one of the wildest moments in his entire timeline, something straight out of a movie script. HoneyKomb Brazy ended up sharing a jail cell with his own father. Think about how rare that is. All the prisons in the state, all the dorms, all the inmates, and somehow he gets placed right next to the man whose footsteps helped shape his own. What they talked about, what they understood about each other, what they confessed about the streets. It became a chapter he still mentions with a mix of disbelief and destiny. A bizarre, dark family reunion inside concrete walls. But nothing would ever hit him harder than what came next. The tragedy that changed him forever. The moment that took his soul by the throat and never let go. His grandparents, people he loved deeply, were attacked in their own home. The attackers set the house on fire, triggering an explosion that killed both of them. It wasn't just a murder. It wasn't just arson. It was an act designed to send a message drenched in pain and finality. HoneyKomb was locked up when it happened, forced to hear about it from the inside, powerless to do anything except try and hold himself together. And as if destiny wasn't already twisted enough, things took another turn. While in jail, his father allegedly crossed paths with the very people responsible for killing HoneyKomb's grandparents. And instead of retaliation, instead of the street justice HoneyKomb believed should have gone down, his father didn't act. That moment shattered whatever father-son bond they had left. HoneyKomb publicly disowned his father, saying he could never respect a man, his own blood, who froze up when revenge was right in front of him. This wasn't rap beef. This wasn't clout. This was a deep, painful, permanent betrayal. And all of this, the shootings, the cases, the time inside, the trauma, the loss, the disowning of his own father, shaped him into the artist whose music bleeds with pain and truth. But this is just the beginning. Because HoneyKomb's next chapters get even darker, even messier, and even more unpredictable. Before we continue, if you want real stories, raw stories, the kind of stories the mainstream is too scared to touch, then like this video right now. Subscribe and turn the notifications on so you never miss a drop. Comment hyper real, so the algorithm knows you're part of the movement. We're building the best hood storytelling channel on YouTube, but we can't grow without you. Tap in, become part of the story. As HoneyKomb Brazy's name grew heavier in the streets, something else started happening, something nobody expected. The same raw intensity that made him a force in Mobile's neighborhoods began showing up in his music. And when he rapped, he wasn't telling stories from the outside looking in. He was speaking as someone who had lived it all. People could hear the trauma, the paranoia, the energy, the scars. Nothing was fabricated. Nothing was exaggerated. The pain was right there in the vocals. His voice became a diary. His lyrics became a testimony. And the streets gravitated toward him fast. Songs like his early freestyles, local anthems, and later his bigger releases spread through Alabama like wildfire. People didn't just like his music, they felt it. He had that rare mix of authenticity and unpredictability that made listeners want to know what he'd say next. HoneyKomb wasn't just rapping. He was unloading chapters of a life most people couldn't imagine surviving. By the time he signed deals, collaborated with bigger artists, and began getting national attention, HoneyKomb was viewed as one of the most electrifying voices coming out of the South. He had charisma, danger, emotion, and that raw Southern energy that turns rappers into legends. But with every level he climbed, the pressure behind him didn't disappear. It followed him. The cases, the beefs, the street politics, the losses, they all stayed attached like shadows he couldn't outrun. And then probation hit. The system had been watching him since he was young, and they weren't about to let him slide now that he was finally finding success. HoneyKomb was navigating fame and probation at the same time, something that becomes nearly impossible when you're tied to the streets the way he was. One slip up, one wrong move, one violation, and everything he worked for could vanish overnight. And that's exactly what began to happen. Music videos featuring guns, associates with criminal records, parole technicalities, every little thing became ammunition for prosecutors. HoneyKomb found himself back in front of judges, back in hearings, back under the microscope. He'd blow up online one week and be back in custody the next. It was like the system and the streets were in competition, each trying to claim him before the other did. Meanwhile, the trauma from his grandparents' deaths weighed on him so heavily that his music darkened even further. He rapped with grief you could feel through your chest. He expressed guilt, rage, confusion, and numbness all at once. Fans connected even more because they could tell he wasn't acting tough. He was hurting openly. And in the rap game, vulnerability mixed with street-certified credibility becomes a powerful combination. But behind the music, something inside HoneyKomb snapped. Losing his grandparents wasn't just a tragedy. It deepened every wound he already had. It hardened him. And when he later found out his father didn't retaliate, didn't act, didn't follow the street code HoneyKomb had been raised to believe in, that betrayal cut deeper than any enemy ever could. That's when he publicly distanced himself from his father, saying he couldn't respect a man who failed to stand up when their family had been destroyed. The streets talked, fans debated, family members reacted, but HoneyKomb didn't back down. To him, certain codes weren't flexible, and once broken, they were broken forever. At the same time, he was facing major legal consequences. The courts claimed he violated probation. The system wanted him locked away for longer. Videos, lyrics, even social media posts were used against him. HoneyKomb insisted he was being targeted, that the system saw his rise and wanted to pull him back down before he got too big. Whether that's true or not, what's undeniable is that he kept falling back into custody right when his career was picking up the most steam. Fame brought attention. Attention brought surveillance. Surveillance brought consequences. And all of this created the perfect storm for the next chapter of his life. One filled with isolation, reflection, tension, and revelations about who he really was becoming. But before we continue deeper into this incredible and tragic journey, do this right now. If you're still watching, like the video so YouTube knows this story matters. Drop a comment saying, "Keep it real," so the algorithm pushes us into the recommended page. And make sure you subscribe so you never miss another raw, unfiltered hood story like this one. We are building something powerful over here, and you are part of it. Once HoneyKomb Brazy was back behind bars, the world expected him to fade away. Just another rapper who couldn't outrun the system. But instead, something wild happened. His legend grew. Stories started floating out of the penitentiary that didn't even sound real, until other inmates confirmed them. HoneyKomb wasn't just surviving prison, he was dominating it. According to him, and backed up by rumors that spread all across Alabama. He claimed to have stabbed over 100 people while locked up. Whether that number is literal, exaggerated, or symbolic hardly matters, because the energy behind the claim was real. In prison, he became feared on a whole new level. His name held weight. His presence shifted the room. Guards allegedly viewed him as a live wire, and inmates either respected him, avoided him, or tried their luck and paid the price. What made this era even more unbelievable is what happened next. HoneyKomb Brazy ended up sharing a cell with his own father. Two men cut from the same bloodline. Two different reactions to trauma. Two totally different versions of the same world. HoneyKomb had lived through pain, retaliation, chaos, loyalty tests, and the strictest street codes. His father, on the other hand, was operating under a different mentality, one HoneyKomb saw as weak, especially after learning his father had been locked up with the very men responsible for his grandparents' deaths and didn't do anything. That revelation shattered whatever was left between them. HoneyKomb publicly disowned him, saying he could never respect a man who let his mother and father's killers walk past him without action. To HoneyKomb, the grief was still fresh, the wounds still open, and the fire still burning. Meanwhile, his father claimed he was focused on survival, not revenge. That split in ideology created a rift that changed HoneyKomb forever. And during this time, locked down, angry, isolated, HoneyKomb's music evolved again. He wrote some of the darkest material of his life. Lyrics about betrayal, pain, bloodshed, loyalty, and paranoia filled notebooks while he sat in a cell that already felt too small for the weight he was carrying. Fans didn't know everything happening behind the walls, but they felt something shift. Every time a snippet leaked or a jail call surfaced, HoneyKomb sounded colder, sharper, more fractured. His name was growing nationally now, not just for his music, but for his story. Hip-hop blogs, street channels, and fans kept repeating the same thing. Bro is living a real-life movie. But inside that movie, HoneyKomb felt trapped. Haunted by the attack on his grandparents' home, the explosion, the fire, the loss. He blamed enemies, blamed the street life, blamed the system, and blamed himself. The guilt became a shadow following him everywhere. The expectations from fans, from the streets, from his own legacy, none of it let up. Meanwhile, fellow inmates reportedly viewed HoneyKomb as someone you didn't test. Some say he was unpredictable and explosive. Others say he was calculated and deadly. Some insist he was simply a broken man forced to survive in a place built to crush people like him. But through every fight, every lockdown, every moment of chaos, the music stayed alive. He wrote, he plotted, he prepared. HoneyKomb wasn't fading away behind bars. He was becoming something bigger, a figure, a myth, a symbol of pain, pressure, and survival. And outside the prison walls, his story only grew. Fans waited. The streets talked. Everyone wanted to know, when he touches free ground again, who will he be? More dangerous? More focused? More scarred? More unstoppable? The answer is complicated. And the next chapter of his life, the legal fights, the emotional wreckage, the betrayals, the search for clarity, and the unexpected twists, is where his story gets even deeper. If you're locked in with us, hit like right now, smash that subscribe button, and drop a comment so this story keeps reaching more people. We're building one of the strongest hood story communities on YouTube, and with your support, we can take this channel straight to the top. Your engagement fuels everything, so show some love and stay tapped in. Years later, HoneyKomb Brazy's name was already ringing through Alabama, but nothing would prepare him for the moment that would break him, harden him, and redefine the entire trajectory of his life. In early 2021, his grandparents' home was attacked. Not shot up, attacked. A full-on assault that triggered an explosion so powerful it shook the entire neighborhood. His grandparents, the very people who held him down through every sentence, every court date, every reckless moment of his youth, were killed inside that home. And instantly, the entire situation around HoneyKomb Brazy shifted. What was once music and street drama suddenly turned into generational loss, national attention, and a violent mystery that still has fans debating what really happened. People started asking questions. Who would target grandparents? Why an explosion instead of a typical shooting? Was this retaliation? Was this a message? HoneyKomb himself was in jail when it happened, unable to protect the only family members who had ever remained a constant in his life. He later said that the news hit him like a death sentence, something he couldn't fight, couldn't change, couldn't fix. And the emotional blow only grew heavier when another shocking layer unfolded. While locked up, HoneyKomb found himself face to face with his own father, sharing a cell with him. This is the same father who had been in and out of the system for years, the same father whose absence shaped HoneyKomb's entire view of the world. But instead of some touching father-son reunion or a healing moment, things went sideways, fast. HoneyKomb later claimed that his father ended up running into the very men connected to the death of HoneyKomb's grandparents and didn't take revenge. To Brazy, this wasn't just a betrayal, it was unforgivable. He publicly stated that he disowned his father over it, calling him weak and saying that no real man would let something like that slide. It was one of the most shocking and emotional revelations of his career, and it told the world something nobody truly realized until then. For HoneyKomb, loyalty and payback weren't theories, they were law. And this created a massive split. Fans debated whether the father did the right thing by not risking more violence inside jail, or whether HoneyKomb was right to expect blood for blood. Others asked a deeper question. After seeing so much death, so much violence, and so much betrayal, was HoneyKomb Brazy ever going to truly break free from the life that shaped him? Or was he locked into the cycle forever? Meanwhile, every headline, every rumor, every comment section kept feeding the legend, painting him as either a tragic product of his environment or one of the most dangerous rappers alive. But here's the thing. If you've come this far into this story, you clearly want the truth. You clearly want to know the real reasons, the real motives, and the real consequences behind everything that happened next. So before we go deeper, before we unpack the part of HoneyKomb's life that even his fans hesitate to talk about, do one thing. Hit that like button so this story reaches more people. Drop a comment if you're locked in, and make sure you're subscribed, because the next chapter is where everything gets even darker, even wilder, and even more unbelievable. This isn't just a video, this is a whole journey. Let's finish it together.